I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, he's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out.
He's steaming mad.
He is out.
Swung, fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's called on the run. It's called on the run. He's going to score. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! Van Tippen has won the ball game. Alabama has beaten Auburn.
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.
Well, welcome in to another edition of the Total Chad Sports Podcast, number 73 of the edition, as we break down everything that's going on in the sports world, and we talk history, and we talk pop culture, and we just talk pretty much anything. We have a live chat. We have everything going on. You can hit us up on all social media sites. We greatly appreciate you being a part of the Total Chad Sports family, or whatever you want to call it. The bullpen, the bench, whatever. You're just friends. You're great listeners and watchers of the podcast, as we are on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch.tv/Coach Grizzle, YouTube.com/@Coach Grizzle TV. So hit us up there. You can be a part of the family. Just join the channel. Hit like and subscribe. Know when we go live. We try to go at least twice a week right now, because we've got a lot of stuff going on. But we're here. We're live. We didn't expect to be live this late. Had some work duties that I had to do. Had to finish up. And then had to decompress a little bit. Because it is tough. It is really tough to put these together and keep the work schedule, keep the regular life schedule going. It's just a lot of stuff gets in the way, and so I apologize if we haven't had, 2 a week like I've been promising. But we do try to make it worthwhile for the 2 hours that we are on. If not, we'll be on for an hour and a half, and we'll give you great content the entire time. And what makes it so great is everyone that's a part of the chat. If you're a part of the chat and you want to ask any questions throughout the show, you're more than welcome to. It's right in the top right corner. It'll show up, and we'll get rocking and rolling from there. We're obviously watching this Snowfest that's going on in Cleveland, as we're just checking on the score there. Crazy that it looked like Jameis Winston was dominating. Cleveland's going to be up. And then Jameis Winston goes Jameis Winston craziness. Fumbles and throws an interception. So we're going to see what happens after 2 quick scores as Russell Wilson comes back in the game and scores. And then Justin Fields comes in, throws a really bad pass, and gets a rough in the passer. Are you ready for when Alabama plays Indiana in this weather? It won't be Notre Dame. It'll probably be Indiana. They'll fall when they lose to Ohio State. They won't fall completely out, because we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, the playoff, about how stupid the committee is. Because if Penn State doesn't lose any more games, where the hell are they going to go? Are they going to be third, fourth? Are they going to stay fourth the entire time for these last 2 games? Is Indiana going to fall all the way to outside the top 12? They'll somehow do it if Tulane wins, hopefully, because it would be cool to see BYU and Tulane get in. Or am I not? Boise State and Tulane. I'm sorry, not BYU. Because I think BYU is going to beat Colorado. Because if Colorado ends up winning, it's going to be fucking crazy. But Alabama playing in the snow. And first of all, Cleveland has a Florida State quarterback, a Georgia running back. They have an Alabama wide receiver, and he only has like 60 yards right now. They should be throwing to him a little bit more if they can throw it. They're over here throwing it to every single tight end on their roster except for their wide receivers. And then when they're running with Nick Chubb, it seems like it's not doing so well in the snow. So don't sit here and tell me that Cleveland is looking as bad as Alabama. All right? At least the Alabama defense is playing a hell of a lot better in the last couple weeks. Or how bad is LSU? Is Alabama really that great? They went on the road and beat LSU at night. And then beat the brakes off of Mercer, who was coming in with only one loss. So, pretty damn good in the FCS world. And they lost to Vanderbilt. We forgot about that. We can't forget about Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilts. We come from a long line of Vanderbilts. It's pretty bad, though. They lost to Vanderbilt. We understand. They lost to Tennessee. Thing is Tennessee Tennessee lost to Georgia. Here's the thing. Is the Alabama Georgia game really the game of the century or the game of the year now? Like, was it really the game of the year? Because Tennessee went and beat Alabama this year. Alabama beat Georgia at home. He's going to need a shout out. You don't need a shout out right now, Dylan. Shout out to Dylan. Watching the channel. Being a upstanding young adult, I'm sure. Trying to do everything in his power to pass classes and go on to college. Not doing anything dumb. Is John in here? Is John in here as well? John, Dylan, Norman, Asher. Who else am I missing? Am I missing anybody else? I don't even know who Echo is. Echo 629. Is that John? It says the one and only Dylan. Where's Dylan at? Let's see here. Fuck. All right. Let's see here. We're going to look. We were talking about the top 25. We talked about this last week, and that's all people have been talking about all this week. It's about how the top 25, seriously, it's so Big Ten biased, but it's also just like, I talked about this last week so many times. SEC teams, there's got to be at least five, right? At least four, realistically, at least four. But there's five. There should be five. Oregon wins out. All right, Ohio State beats Indiana. Okay? Indiana goes down. How many does Indiana go down? Notre Dame's got to go up. Notre Dame's going to be fifth. Right? But here's the thing. Where's BYU going to be? BYU is sitting at 14th. All right? SMU, where's SMU going to be? Right? They still have got to play Clemson. If those two teams went out, by the way, because Miami's still got to be there. Why is Miami still sitting at 8th? Miami hasn't played anybody. Indiana hasn't played anybody. Texas is going to be fine. Honestly, Texas is going to be fine. Because as long as they get past Texas A&M, and then they'll be sitting pretty, they'll end up playing Alabama probably in the SEC title game. As long as Alabama wins out, because Alabama still has to play Oklahoma, and then Alabama still has to play Auburn. Texas still has to play like Texas A&M, and I can't remember their last game or their other game. We looked at this last week. I mean, we can go back into it again. We talked a lot about this, and it's just something that, here's the thing. It's just TV. Like a great friend said, it's just a TV show. It's really just to sell ads and get more exposure on TV. And now it's just going crazy. We have 12 teams. We're still going to have teams that are going to be left out. There could be possibly 5 to 6 SEC teams. There could be at least up to 4 Big Ten teams and 4 SEC teams, like we said last week. There's going to be at least 2 ACC teams. If Miami or SMU or wherever those 2 weird teams happen. Or if Clemson wins the ACC somehow. Because we haven't been talking about Dabo. We haven't been shitting on him all year. We haven't been making fun of him. We literally have, he's been sitting in the dark, sitting at second over Miami, could win out, playing for the ACC title. And then you have, in a weird way, what happens, like, why is SMU still sitting outside the top 12? Why wouldn't they be ranked any higher? Why is Penn State sitting at where they're sitting? Why do they get a pass? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is going on? Indiana hasn't played anybody. Why do they get a pass? Because Penn State's only loss is Ohio State, and it's every single damn year we sit here and say Penn State is worth the damn, and Penn State under Franklin is going to be good this year, and then they're going to be contending for the title, and blah, 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 blah. And every single year they lose key crucial games that can put them in the playoff or make them a huge favorite and be in the top seed or do something like that, have a bye, and they'll go lose to, like, you know, Ohio State. Or they'll go lose possibly to Minnesota or Maryland in these last 2 weeks because the pressure's on them. And we haven't seen them be able to get past that pressure and constantly be like 10-2. And it's just like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, we want to see what happens, Penn State. Can you make a believer out of us? But you want to sit here and tell us that they really deserve that fourth overall ranking? No, they don't. And Indiana doesn't deserve 5th. It's honestly ridiculous. Let me look at, and then Indiana's got Ohio State, right? They got Ohio State and Purdue. So if they lose to Ohio State would jump them, play for the Big Ten title long as they win out, and play Oregon. But what happens when Ohio State they're just going to flip with Oregon? That's all that's going to happen there, if we look at it that way. If Ohio State wins out, because they would avenge that loss against Oregon in the regular season. So, but Ohio State would get a bye. And Oregon would probably be like 5th or 6th or wherever they move, you know, the rest of the teams. Because all these other teams kind of have to win out too. All these other teams have to there's all these scenarios. Like Notre Dame's just like in the driver's seat because they can just keep winning, even though they lost to Northern Illinois and they don't deserve to be anywhere near the top 10, top 5, anything like that. They don't deserve to be in these rankings at all. Notre Dame is trash. But when you sit here and you look at Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Tennessee, competitive-ass teams that are sitting at, 7 through 11, you got Miami sitting there at 8th, who I don't understand how Miami still gets a pass, but here we are. Miami's still sitting at 8th. Like I said, 2 ACC teams could possibly be in there. Because what happens if, let's just say Miami... Let's see, SMU. Let's see. Let me look at the rest of Miami's schedule. They got Wake Forest and Syracuse. All right, they lost to Georgia Tech. That's their only loss. All right, they beat. They don't have any tiebreaker or anything over anybody that they have, unless who did Clemson lose to? That's right, Louisville. They lost to Louisville. So they lost to teams that they didn't even play. Like Clemson didn't play Georgia Tech, right? Okay? Did Miami play Louisville? At least Miami played Louisville and won, so maybe that's the tiebreaker. But if Clemson wins out, they're still sitting on top of the ACC right now at second. Granted, it's just wild. It's just insane. So where would SMU be with one loss or with two losses if they lost to Clemson in the ACC championship, or if it's Miami in the championship? See, now SMU beat Louisville as well. So could it also be? Could it possibly, if Miami wins out, could it possibly be SMU Miami? You see what I'm saying? Because of that tiebreaker, if they were tied. Because Clemson has not played Miami, right? Hear me out. Clemson and Miami did not play. Okay? Clemson's only loss in their conference is Louisville. They lost to Georgia, but they lost to Louisville. All right? Clemson lost to Louisville. Miami beat Louisville 52-45, close too. SMU beat Louisville 34-27. So I think Miami would actually beat Clemson in the tiebreaker in that scenario if they went out and they're both 8-1? 'Cause they got 9-1. So they got Wake Forest and Syracuse. Or sorry, yeah. No, they're 8-1 because Miami has, right? No, 7-1. That's wrong. Sorry. Because they're 5-1 right now. Miami's got 2 more, so that would be 7-1. Clemson is 7-1 because they have Citadel and South Carolina left. They don't have anybody left. So Miami has to basically win out. If Miami wins out, then they have that tiebreaker, I believe, against Clemson because they beat Louisville. I think that's the deciding game, is the Louisville game. Who did Louisville lose to? Let's see here. What's Louisville looking like? They're 4-3 in the conference. They lost to Miami, Stanford, SMU, and Notre Dame. So, yeah. Crazy to think that wherever in the ACC, like I said last week, you're going to have at least two ACC teams. Because if Miami wins out and plays for the ACC title, they have a really good chance of still, once again, holding a top spot. They're going to have a top spot. Going to be one of the highest ranked conference champs at the Power 5. So, like, it's just going to be ridiculous. Or the Power 4. It's just going to be ridiculous what happens here. SMU, if they keep winning out, they're 6-0. They could be 8-0 in the conference and win out. Play for the ACC title game. Lose to Miami. That'd be their only conference loss, but it would be their second loss. Because they lost to BYU. Which, that still helps BYU because they're still over here winning out. They'll get in because they're a conference champ and the Power 5. Power 4. So it's gonna get really dicey. They just screwed all this up just for us to have something to talk about. Just for us to have a bunch of different people in this world with podcasts and to sit here and talk about sports and have something to talk about with the chat and everything that goes around this whole situation. Because the committee always gets it right. Well, the committee has a lot of bias, and the committee hasn't gotten it right in the past. And the committee has looked like idiots in the past. But here we are talking about all these damn possible scenarios of what teams are going to get left out and what teams are going to sit here and maybe deserve it when they get in here and they win out, or they win their conference, or they upset somebody, or if Boise State loses, or if Tulane beats Army, or if Army beats Notre Dame. I mean, all of these possible scenarios, like if Colorado beats BYU, if Texas A&M beats Texas, a lot of teams are going to get left out. Clemson at 17. Where in the hell is Clemson going to jump? That's the reason why I think that if you look at it, why are they ranked so far down? If they're 7-1 in their conference and they win out, they beat a good South Carolina team who Alabama beat. They beat us, they went out and beat a Citadel team. But they go, and where will they be ranked if Texas A&M beats Texas, Georgia wins out, Miami wins out, SMU wins out, BYU wins out? I mean, where are these teams going to move? Boise State's not going to move. Like, are we thinking that Tennessee's going to get upset by Vandy? Is Notre Dame going to get upset? Is Indiana going to go from they lose to Ohio State? Is Indiana going to get screwed and go from 5th to 13th? I mean, is Penn State just going to stay at 4th the entire time? Where is Penn State? It's in Pennsylvania, moron. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's look at Penn State real quick. Who do they have left? We just had their game on here. We had their game on here. We just had. By the way, tonight's drink is not sponsored, but special shout out to Straight to Ale, local brewery here, Chills Pills. Starting a new thing. Gonna have some specialty drinks and some different types of beverages throughout the channel. Give some local shout outs. Remember, Straight to Ale, Chills Pills. I also had some Monkey Nut IPA, but I drank all of them and I did not put any of them on the stream. So shout out to Monkey Nut. They have that as well. If you're an IPA drinker, it's not bad. I'm not a big IPA guy, and I like it actually. I actually really do. Like that and Sweetwater. There's a couple IPAs that I can kind of tolerate. I'm just not a big craft beer kind of guy. But I mean, Pilsners and anything that's kind of light and just anything that's just kind of good to drink. I'll take that any day too, especially local. There's quite a few here. And so it's a lot of fun to kind of just be able to celebrate and kind of promote these local breweries because a lot of great people, a lot of people just trying to make a name for themselves, and a lot of people just trying to make some good brews. And it's pretty cool to see that kind of local stuff because when you go to other states, before we kind of had a few breweries around here, it's you go to Atlanta, Nashville, Chicago, just different cities that bigger cities that you kind of have that that local feel, and that you have some of those breweries in that area, so you see some of those breweries. So Goose Island or anything like that, it's it's really cool to be able to see some different types of that stuff. Mad Malt's here. What is it? Yellowhammer. Of course, Yellowhammer is state bird. There's what is the other ones? Where's I don't think they have Rocket Republic anymore, and then they've got Old Black Bear here, which it's here locally. You got Back 40. There's a bunch of different places. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of type of thing around here to kind of promote those local brews. So, and I mean, I'm literally wearing everything local tonight. I have my Buckhorn back-to-back 6A state champs shirt on. They beat my alma mater last Friday. They're playing real well. Hope Caleb Holt's doing well in Georgia. I mean, I'm wearing the damn Trash Pandas hat. I mean, I'm all decked out local. It's all local tonight. It's all local. I mean, you literally can see the scarf right here. I'm not a founding member, but thank you to the Invaders, one of the original HCFC fan clubs, sports team fan club, awesome group of people. do a great job over there. Everyone is a soccer knot, or not a soccer knot, or whatever it's called now. Huntsvillian. I think it's a Huntsvillian. Huntsvillian, that's what they're called. Huntsvillans. So, thank you for that. I love to be part of this whole local scene. Love to just promote, like, you know, good people. You know, and just being able to sit here and be able to have a chance to just talk a little bit of sports and have everyone a part of it. You sit here and see me rant about certain things. I haven't even talked any basketball. We have hockey going on. Huntsville Havoc. You got NHL. I'm over here waiting to go to a game to the Havoc. I still have not been yet. We're gonna do some live stuff. I'm gonna try to get some recording and stuff, and then try to put that back on the stream and show you guys later, because it is a great time. If you've never been, like, it is probably one of the coolest places ever. If you ever make a stop to this area and this neck of the woods, definitely, if you're a hockey fan, if you're traveling and there's like, you just want to go see some different types of hockey in different arenas and stuff, because like, I still would love to see the rest of the SEC. I still would love to see every different stadium. There's some great MLB stadiums that I would love. That's a thing. It's a bucket list thing to do, to just drive around and see different types of stadiums. So I think that would be pretty cool for me. Like those are just those types of things. Literally, if you saw that video, I'll have to find it. It was on Twitter, and it was Oregon dancing, jumping up and down to let's see here. It was Oregon jumping around to jump around. That shit was hilarious. That shit was wild. Right here. Let me show you. I'll probably get DMC'd by YouTube for that, but that was totally worth it. I mean, my goodness, like, how cool is that? I mean, like, the fact that you're doing that in the opposing stadium, it's like, you kind of hope that you're up by a lot. If a team starts doing that, I don't know, as a coach, I could sit there and watch my team jumping up and down in a heated game in the fourth quarter, just because it's like such an iconic thing to Camp Randall. I think Camp Randall will be like one of the coolest things ever. I would love to go see that. The historicness to it, everything about it, just like that during football season would be pretty cool. I mean, people will have to enjoy something in Wisconsin. I feel like Wisconsin is like, it's just, they're just one of those teams that just can never win. And they're fighting an uphill battle. If Iowa's good one year, Ohio State's good, Indiana's good, Penn State's good. What did I say? Did I say Ohio State? Michigan's good. I mean, they have to deal with all these different teams. And it's like they always have a good run game, a good offensive line, but the quarterback play sucks. They have no weapons at wide receiver. Their defense has a good defensive line, but their linebackers are slow, and they're not very athletic, and they don't have very good defensive backs. So it's like the defense it's like if they had a stingier defense, and then if they just had like a quarterback that was worth a damn. I mean, I feel like for years they were producing NFL running backs. They weren't very long in the NFL, but they would produce running backs, offensive linemen, defensive greats. So, I mean, it's crazy that, like, Wisconsin has never really had, like, much of a chance a lot of times. And, like, that's the crazy thing about it is, like, they've had all these different teams to get past. It's kind of like every single year that Ole Miss is, like, they're supposed to be pretty good, or, like, they could make a run, but, like, years past they've been pretty bad. Because Wisconsin was pretty bad last year. So it's like Ole Miss in a sense, where Ole Miss, not especially now with Lane Kiffin, but just years past where under Hugh Freeze, just sit here and you go, all right, y'all can be pretty good. And then they get like 2 crucial losses or a 3rd crucial loss. And it's like, oh, well, they're not even going to get a chance. They'll go to a bowl game and they might look good, or some years they might throw a stinker in that bowl game. But it's like during that whole season, they're like, oh, yeah, we expect them to be really good, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they're more like Penn State, where it's like we expect them to be good every single year, and then they lose 2 games. So, yeah, maybe they're more like Penn State. I guess like in the SEC, maybe they're like Texas A&M because they just never win. You know what I mean? But Texas A&M is more of a new team than Wisconsin is to a Big Ten team, or to Big Ten conference. So it's like, it's just so weird every single year that like Wisconsin could have a pretty good team, but the one issue is all of these other teams that just they just can't get past. Whether it's Michigan, whether it's getting upset by Michigan State in some crazy game, because I've seen some crazy Michigan State Wisconsin finals that just blew my mind, where it's just like, you shouldn't be doing this. And it's like Michigan State too, it's like should be pretty good, like you should contend, and you mess with Michigan every year, and it's like, nope, we're not any good. It's like Auburn, Michigan State, and then Auburn. Every single year you play a better opponent, it seems like, a lot of times on paper. A lot of times, especially in these last 20 years, it seems like Alabama has been obviously better on paper, but it's like Auburn somehow will squeak by in a win and you don't expect it, especially in 2017, 2019. It's just crazy how all of those situations have happened. And you're like, well, these teams are not very good, and these Alabama teams have been really, really good. It's like Michigan State will over here upset Michigan, and it's like, well, this is bullshit. It's like Michigan probably should win this game. Well, Michigan State's pretty scrappy this year. They got a pretty good team, and they go lose to somebody bad, and they look awful the rest of the year. It's like kind of like right now under Hugh Freeze with Auburn. Auburn's just like, that Cam Coleman touchdown last week, that was nasty. And they could break a lot of hearts for Alabama fans in a week when they play in Bryant-Denny. And it could be just a crazy, crazy Iron Bowl. Because I've been to 2 crazy Iron Bowls. And the thing is, they both were at Jordan-Hare. I feel like every year, though, especially when it was during Saban's era, like if it was at Tuscaloosa, it was pretty much going to be a pretty good win. But this year, they have so many good wide receivers. If Auburn can get rolling, especially on the run game, it's going to be a problem. But see, Alabama's got to get past Oklahoma first. We can't just go do a Mike Elko and say our main focus, all right, is Texas. Not Auburn. Not Auburn. Because they're playing Texas A&M this weekend. But Texas. Our main focus is Texas. So Texas A&M, I think I said earlier in the podcast that I didn't know who it was. It was Auburn. The whole time. I knew it the whole time. Auburn. See, that stuff just kind of just floats in my head. It's weird how it just like, you forget it, and then you start doing this whole thing, and then you start going, what, hey, I promise I didn't look it up. I didn't look it up. You would have saw me type it. You would have saw me go back and look and click. I would have remembered. But Auburn gets Texas A&M at home. Could Auburn go crazy and beat Texas A&M this weekend? If Auburn can do Auburn things and run the football effectively with Jarquez Hunter, and then open up the pass with Peyton Thorne where he just limit his problems, it'll be fine. Because I think in a sense, Auburn would have a more experienced quarterback than Texas A&M. Whoever's starting. But Peyton Thorne plays like a young quarterback, and he'll have issues. And if Texas A&M can get to the quarterback, then it could be a long day for Auburn. But it's the last game at home this season. I was not able to go to any games this year. A lot of duties. I also did not know if I could have applied to a couple of them, I may have actually got accepted. But I greatly, greatly appreciate Auburn University and just everybody there that continues to allow me to be updated on all the sports that's going on in Auburn. Really do enjoyed my time being able to cover sports in the booth. So I just really do appreciate Auburn for being able to let me do that, because it was really cool to be able to still be a part of the teleconferences each week. Getting to listen to a lot of the coaches and be a part of that. So I greatly appreciate the SEC for allowing me to do that. Who knew? I'm just some guy, in Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm over here listening and able to ask questions in a Zoom call with SEC football coaches. So whether it's I'm doing this or whether it's I'm coaching, whether I'm sitting here doing a podcast, it's pretty cool to be able to do that. So maybe in the future here, hopefully in the future, when we start implementing guests and start talking to people on here and having them on, we'll have a video and you'll be able to see them, and it'll be big time and you'll enjoy it, and it'll be no different. You'll be able to be a part of the chat, and we'll enjoy it and have a good time and do whatever we want. I don't know, Zach. If they're upset, if they get beat, how far do they fall? We've already talked about this. Will they go all the way out of the top 10 if they lose? Straight to L, chills pills. Drink it. Get it. Order it. Then Alabama will be like 6th. Oh, let's see here. What was the final on that game? Browns came back and won. Nice. Now that it's over, let's show you the stats. I told you can't bet against Jameis Winston, baby. He eats dubs. It's just such a crazy game. All that snow. That was wild. Nick Chubb, 2-yard rush. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He snowplows in the end zone for a go-ahead touchdown. I love it. I love it. Because I have him in NFL fantasy. If they win, they're not going to be 1 or 2. I'm sorry, they're not going to be 1 or 2. The only way that they're 2, first of all, they're not going to be 1 because Oregon's going to win out because Ohio State lost to Oregon. We talked about this earlier in the podcast. If Ohio State beats Oregon, they could be 1 or 2. Okay? And is Oregon really going to fall like outside of the top 10 if they lose to Ohio State? Let alone could we talk about could they lose outside of the top 5? Because if Ohio State beats Indiana, they would play and avenge Oregon. You see what I'm saying? Oregon's got to fall so far, dude. Because where does Alabama go? Because what if Alabama wins out and beats Texas? What happens if Texas A&M beats Texas? Where the hell does Texas fall? What happens if SMU wins out and they beat Miami? Because Miami wins in a tiebreaker because they beat Louisville. And guess who didn't beat Louisville? Clemson. So what happens there? Explain to me where all these scenarios, where in this whole situation, when we sit here and look at this, watch this. These two flip, right? Oregon might go down to like 7th or 8th, right? Okay? Ohio State would go up, all right? So we're saying that this is at the end of the year, by the way. Texas would have to win out. Texas would be 2nd or 3rd because they would beat Alabama, or they would be playing Alabama or somebody, right? Because if they beat Texas A&M, that gives a chance for Alabama. Right now, Alabama's sitting in the driver's seat. They just have to win out because Auburn could lose to Auburn could beat Texas A&M. But if Texas beats Texas A&M, then Alabama has a really good chance to sit here and have this situation. So if Penn State, where do they sit out and just wait? Where Indiana loses to Ohio State, how far do they fall? Notre Dame moves up a couple spots. They might be 4th or 5th. Alabama would be like 5th or 6th around this time because they'd be playing Texas. Miami, who knows right here because they'd be playing SMU. Where would SMU be if they're undefeated? Mississippi. What happens with Ole Miss? They'll be in the top 10, so they'll get in. Georgia's in the top 10, so they'll get in. Boise State will be over Tennessee, so Tennessee wouldn't be in. And if Tulane beats Army, what happens if like Boise State slips up? What happens if then Tennessee might have a chance? There's so many different weird ass scenarios that realistically you could sit here and talk about and have that. No, they won't. No, they won't. If they win out, they're fine. Do you understand? Because they would be the highest group of 5 champion. There's no way Tulane would jump them if they went out. That's what you're banking on? That they're not going to win out? I would love to see Tulane make the playoff. I've already said that John Summerall will get Tulane to the playoff. I love Coach Summerall. He is one of my favorite young, amazing coaches. It's not Grissom biased. It's not Regency biased at all. I promise. Tulane is a fucking problem. Because if they beat Army, if Army beats Notre Dame, dude, where does Notre Dame fall? They lost to Northern Illinois, and they're over here sitting at 6th. Everyone talked about how the Alabama-Georgia game is the game of the century or the game of the year, whatever the fuck they called it. And Georgia-Tennessee was an amazing game. Alabama-Tennessee was a pretty damn good game. I mean, where do we draw the line here? I mean, like, is every game now, because Alabama doesn't have Nick Saban, is every game that Georgia plays like some great game? Because you kind of see how that Ole Miss beat Georgia. They had to rush the field twice. Who's my biggest fraud in the top 4? Penn State. If we wanted to get crazy with it, when it all gets shook up, could possibly be Notre Dame if they went out. But right now, if I'm looking at this top 4, Texas is playing really well. Quinn Ewers looked pretty good. Oregon looks pretty good, man. They're sitting at number 1. if they went out and beat Ohio State again, we can't sit here and say they suck, because Michigan last year looked pretty bad against some teams. And to be honest with you, I was not high on them either. And yet Michigan beat Alabama, went out, beat Washington, won the national title. Yeah. And if they just keep winning, it's crazy to think that in their first year they just sit here and dominate the Big Ten, go and win a national title, which, I mean, they could pull a Missouri though too. They could sit here and win it and then go off to that championship game and then get their ass blasted by Ohio State. That's the thing about Texas A&M. I don't know if Texas A&M really, maybe nowadays with the no divisions, but Texas A&M, I don't think they're ever going to win an SEC title. It's difficult. It's really fucking difficult. There's Tulane, who has more SEC titles than a lot of teams in the SEC. They sure as hell have more than Texas A&M. Georgia Tech has more SEC titles than like a third of the SEC. Sleeper to win the whole thing. Scary sleeper too. Alabama. Experienced quarterback. Defense playing really well, and it's young. Ole Miss is disgusting too. But the thing about Ole Miss is that Jackson Dart can't suck ass. You can't have like the backup quarterback somehow have like, I don't think he's gonna have a miracle game again like he did against Georgia. Yeah. And their defense has to stop people. Milroe can have a sleeper game for sure, but the thing about Milroe is, and especially if you've seen him in the last 2 weeks, he's taken over the game. And it looks like Lamar Jackson, but bigger. Where it's like, yeah, he lost to Vanderbilt, he lost to Tennessee. He may not win the Heisman. Which I still think Jenny should win the Heisman, especially if Boise State wins out. Milroe is doing disgusting ass things. He just ran all over LSU. And then in the last game, he really didn't even have to do much, even though it's Mercer and it's an FCS team. But he still was consistent. Oh yeah, definitely. And how about this? I love Georgia Tech. I am a big Georgia Tech homer. I don't know anybody on their team. Don't pay attention to anything news wise when it comes to Georgia Tech. But I listened to this today on 92.9 The Game. I love Georgia Tech. I love everything about them since Megatron played. I love that game where they forgot their jerseys. For some reason, that game, especially when I was living in Georgia, for some reason, I always got a Georgia Tech game. And I just sat there and would watch them and just enjoy the hell out of it. Yeah. Kind of like Army. Army does the same damn thing. They run like, they run. The thing is like they're not even like old school like anymore. They're running all this crazy shit now. But it's like they still run the ball effectively and then they just throw. Yeah. They throw the shit out of it when they need to. Yeah, because it's not like how it used to be. It's like DBs aren't like just some dudes. DBs are like long or they're short and they're fast. They're not very big, basically. And so you can't really help but throw another linebacker out there or throw a safety out there that's a little bit thicker. Got a little bit more LBs. I mean, but we already talked about this. Dude, 5 teams could be in the SEC. 5 teams, maybe 6 could be in the playoff. I've already said it last week. 5 teams. At least 4. At least 4. Let's see. Any games? Look, we can look at FBS. Oh well, we already had the Iowa State game. Friday is Temple UTSA, Purdue, Michigan State, and UNLV and San Jose State. Of course, Alabama's playing Oklahoma. Let's look around the SEC. Did you watch that game earlier? Did you watch the Browns game? And how Jameis Winston just over here throwing dick around and throwing the game away? How are you doing in your fantasy league? You playing any fantasies this year? I'm doing pretty good in 2 of my leagues. 2-9! Damn, son. I'm sorry. I apologize. Rip the homie. Oh, Georgia Tech. Oh. No, I was talking about the game earlier. Nice, yeah. Did Georgia Tech win? Oh, nice. They beat NC State on a missed field goal? That's hilarious. I didn't even see that earlier. That is amazing. That is fucking amazing. Go, Georgia Tech. I didn't even see they won earlier. I know that they were playing. Yeah. You picked Browns? Crazy. Yeah, and that's the thing. I was sitting there talking with a friend. I was like, you can't bet against Jameis Winston. Especially the first game that he's a starting quarterback as a backup. Because, then the next game, they'll figure him out, and then he'll suck. But, that was, with 13 minutes left in the fourth, and then Pittsburgh comes back, and then he throws a pick, or he fumbles and then throws a pick. And then they score twice. I had Jalen Warren in fantasy because I don't have any running backs. In this one league, look at this. In this one league, and don't go chasing waterfalls. 7-4, right? 2nd of 6 in the East. I'm second overall because I'm better in the head-to-head against the third person. I got 15 points out of Jalen Warren because look at my roster. I have no running backs. I did terrible at the running back position. And I'm over here killing it with Tyler Algier as my backup. I picked up Jalen Warren 2 weeks ago. He's been my starter for 2 weeks. I got rid of him. I got rid of Tajay Spears. Jameson Williams shot me. I got so lucky last week. So I'm up 2 points, right? And I go down 6 points, I think, because I have the Texans defense. Then they get that pick 6 at the end, and I went up, and I was up by 14. Dude, I was going fucking nuts, bro. It won me in this league. It won me in another league too. It wasn't as close. I have them in 3 leagues, but in two of these teams, it won me like crazy. Let's see. I got some hot cousins. That one's not in. That's not a league anymore. Wade in the Waddle. That's not a league anymore. It's deactivated from last year. I got some hot cousins. I had Jerry Jeudy, which granted at the time it wasn't very good. He only had 6. So I'm kind of happy with this 14.5 score out of Jerry Jeudy because I forgot to put Jameson Williams in. But I've got Marvin Harrison. I got Geno Smith as quarterback because Kirk Cousins is out. But I have Kyle Pitts and Bijan. I had Koo too at one time. I had to get Matt Gay. And then I'm not Matt Gay, I'm sorry. Then the other league I had Koo. And I had to get the guy from Kansas City. I have Koo in another league. I think I've had Matt Gay all year in this one. What? In this league? No. Let's see. Who would you put in over Geno Smith in this? Because I looked. Who would you put? Would you put Aaron Rodgers? He's on a bye. Would you put Drake May, Tommy DeVito, Will Levis, Bryce Young, Cooper Rush? Is Joe Flacco playing? I think somebody picked up Anthony Richardson because he was there not too long ago. Hold on. Who picked him up? Because he was just there. Because I saw him earlier. He must have just picked him up. Who is this? Who picked him up? How do I look at who's on his roster? Hold on. Oh, Broad Street Bullies. I don't know who that is. I'd have to go look at the name. I think that might be Baz. Is that Baz? Maybe. Oh wait, no, I'm playing. Okay, that's right. Oh no, that's okay. Broad Street Bullies is Brother and Beans. Brother and Beans. You mean get Tom Brady? Tim Brady, motherfuckers. Oh, he played with George Pickens. I hope he's not paying attention. I know who this is. This is Prox. Mayo stained Levi's. It's cold. It is damn cold. Now, not as cold as like everybody else up north, but it is like 30. The low is like 30, but the high has been in like the 50s, maybe the low 60s. But Monday, yeah, it snowed for a lot of people up north. Monday, it was like 75, and it was pretty warm. Like, the day was really nice. But then Tuesday, it rained, and it was overcast all day. Then yesterday, it was beautiful. Today, it was beautiful, but it was fucking cold. The last 2 days, it was this wind. Because of the rain, and there was a storm that came through. And the last 2 days have been nothing but wind and fucking just cold. Yeah. It's like real football weather. And the thing is we're in playoff high school football right now, which I've been breaking a lot of that down in the podcast. So like for instance, like in my neck of the woods, all of my teams won or lost, and realistically it's just nothing but like it normally is. Montgomery, Mobile, and Birmingham all playing for the title, because you got Central Phoenix City, Hoover, Thompson Enterprise, and former Grissom head coach Chip English, interim, if not I guess he's now the head coach of Hoover because he's gotten into the playoffs. I think he's got a real uphill battle against Central Phoenix City because that's Bo Nix's daddy, and they're really fucking good. They beat our best team in our area really fucking bad, 70-14. This is 7A, so this is big time football in Alabama. There's a lot of games going on this week. Of course, I said Enterprise and Thompson. Got Fort Payne and Oxford. Oxford's going to be really good. They're 12-0. Spain Park's really good. They're 12-0. This Saraland Spain Park, this team, whoever wins out of this, got a real good chance to win the whole thing. Both teams are really good. Spain Park was in 7A last year, and I think they really did benefit from going down one. Let me go to 6A. So, like, 6A has Pike Road, Hueytown, Saraland, Spain Park, Muscle Shoals around this area, and Fort Payne around this area. So, like, all of those have been pretty good, too. Those have been really good. Do they stream these games? It's called the NFHS network. You kind of have to pay for like a subscription, I think, for whatever team you want to watch. I think you can pay for individual games. We do a lot of that here. I wish we didn't, because it takes away from local radio. So like we had to deal with that a lot of times, where we had to pay a fee, or the team had to pay a fee for us to come in and do this. But also it's like, if you wanted to do like the playoffs, you had to pay a fee, which is like crazy to think that. But like if we're coming in and wanting to promote you, you know what I mean? Like you have to basically have that. This, in a sense, is more of like a big corporate thing where like all the schools in like everywhere basically you can get to NFHS. You can also get a lot of learning like tools, like coaching classes and stuff. So it's all kind of like tied in. You know what I mean? Yes, Alabama isn't as good, I would say, in a sense, when it comes to high school football as the surrounding area. Because, like, Florida's good, Georgia's good, Tennessee's pretty good, Mississippi will have some good teams, obviously. But, like, if you go up to Tennessee, like, I'm not far from the border to Tennessee. I can drive to Tennessee and see a team that has their own stadium, their own, basically everything. They make their own money. They're the team, blah, blah, blah. That city or whatever, they might have another private school or they might have another smaller school that doesn't really contend with them. But here, where I live, there's 5 schools that are all city schools. They're all not the same size, but they all get treated the same. And they all have one stadium they play in. Granted, it's a great stadium. It's renovated. It's historic. It's got a lot of seats. I mean, if they filled it out, I mean, it would if they made more seats, if they made it more closed in and made it more of an attraction where you do outside of it, like they've been doing with, minor league baseball teams and just football and in general, and like all these different types of venues of how you just enclose everything and then you have everything right there. If they had some more things to do around the area, if they just made it where you really had a home feel, where you have your own fans working the games, doing everything they're supposed to do, bringing in everything, instead of it making it a more of a, like I said before, it's like more of like a corporate feel, where you have workers coming in rather than like if I walk up to the concession stand and it's not like one of the players' moms. Or, you know what I mean? Or someone in the booster club or whatever. Like, they kind of lost that feel. And that's the thing about it is that's what sucks. We have all these surrounding schools, right? They have their own stadiums, everything like that. But it's like, if our state would do certain things, I mean, legalize pot, tax the shit out of it, have a lottery, have casinos, everything like that, and put that money to education and put that money to our schools, we would greatly benefit from it. And Alabama high schools would be a problem. They're already a problem with what they're able to get away with. Imagine if like they had even more money, and then how much more NIL money would go towards the University of Alabama and Auburn. I mean, just when Alabama alone becomes a state where we're paying high school players is going to be a problem. We're already having schools right now that are able to like move kids to that certain city, play football there, and it's okay because it's like some weird way to be able to do it. You know what I mean? They somehow found a loophole on being able to do this type of stuff. Yeah. How about Georgia? I used to live in Georgia, okay? And it was like 6th and 7th grade. How about when you're in 6th and 7th grade and you already have like your friends and everything talking about how they get to go to school for free, and they're over here already like, I'm gonna go here because they're able to go to school for free because they were born in Georgia. And you're born in Alabama. And we over here have 20,000 churches in the state of Alabama. This is getting political. We have like 20,000 churches in the state of Alabama. And not one, it's like we don't do anything with that money. But we just feel like that we couldn't do anything else to try to maybe just once put some money back into something else other than fucking roads. Other than roads and crazy fucking projects. They're renovating the Trash Panda Stadium. I love the Trash Pandas. They're renovating the Trash Panda Stadium. Okay, because apparently they don't meet the MLB's standards of like clubhouse stuff. So like the visitors is getting revamped and everything. They're making like a special area for female umpires or something. And then they're doing a bunch of renovation. And there's like so many people that are like at odds about this whole thing, where it's like, well, why don't we put the taxpayer money in like the roads? And like that in itself made sense, because for once it's like, yeah, you've been working on this fucking road for this is going to be the 4th year for the Trash Pandas. Okay. You've been working on this road for the last goddamn 6 fucking years. All right. We built overpasses years ago that had on and off ramps on both sides of the overpass. In the last 15 years, you build overpasses with one fucking on ramp. And then the off ramp is 2 fucking exits down. What the fuck are you thinking? Where did we go dumber? But that's the thing. They're over here redoing it. They're going to redo it. I have said it so many times. They were supposed to have Margaritaville and a hotel right behind the stadium at Toyota Field. That didn't work. That never happened. All they have now is a big-ass middle little divider thing that's like a big wall in center field. In right field, they got the rock porch. In left field, they got the visitor bullpen. Now, they could build some stuff and have better things for the bullpen and then stuff for the clubhouse and everything like that for the visitor side. But that left field area has an elevator, okay? All it is this big-ass fucking tall rectangle fucking thing. That's the elevator right there that just goes up one floor for, handicap people and just people that can't walk up the stairs and need to get to that next level and can't go around the other side because there's like a ramp, but they can't go around the other side and they're just closer to over there, and that's where the visitor side is. There's another area to have drinks and stuff. But a lot of times they'll have like special things, like they'll have inflatables and all this other stuff in the back area. Well, there's like a whole space right there that you could utilize where you could put an overhang and a left field lounge where you have a party deck right there on the left field line. Put it right there on the left field foul pole and extend it out from that wall. And then you would have like this awesome place for people to sit and party and do all these types of things. And then it wouldn't just be like this set of concrete. Then you could look down and you could actually watch the pictures of the visiting team right in front of you than having to stand there in front of the people. Because I feel like if you gave people an area to kind of like sit down and enjoy it and be in that back area, especially if it's general admission, you wouldn't want to pack a general admission area and like go crazy and rowdy and stuff, and you're in the visitor area. Like, come on, that would be awesome. Like the visitors would enjoy it. You know what I mean? You could just sit there and heckle the visiting pitchers. It would be amazing. So like, there's a lot of things that could have been done, but when you have a big ass rock pit parking lot next to the big ass paved lot that gets overflown, and you have this rock pit that goes nowhere with no buildings or anything. Like, you either need to build a deck, or you just need to use it as a parking lot and then build inside the stadium and then build around like you've already done. You can already walk around the entire thing. You can still walk around the entire thing if you put this deck I'm talking about in left field. Now, you would have to have some way for people to access that elevator, but I feel like you could still somehow have it where people could sit and access it and it actually be a really cool concept. But like right now that they're having to do all these renovations because they don't even meet the standards. I mean, shit, like the guy that built the thing, that came and built the thing, he was here in 3 years and left. So, I mean, it took him in that amount of time, a long time to get it done. But once they got it done, it's been amazing. Hopefully they've end up making a lot of money off of this whole thing. I feel like a lot of times they kind of fall off a little bit. Hopefully it'll continue the luster, because everyone loves that Trash Panda logo. They just love the whole thing. But when you're sitting here watching this kind of stuff, it's like, You got to have more than just like that rock porch. Not everyone drinks beer. You got to have more than just like, you know, a couple of like fun things to do in that area. You got to have it more interaction. I still think that they should put picnic tables in the right field area because it's nothing but like kind of like dirt back there. They should put picnic tables in that dirt area and stop these kids from throwing baseballs back and forth and almost hitting people, and allow people to sit down and watch the game in left field and enjoy that. Or put some bleachers in left field. Do something in left field where like people have a chance to kind of just sit down because there's just a whole like bar area. Shoot, put a bunch of, it doesn't matter. Buy more chairs that you have in that right field porch. Put all those chairs along all those bar seatings in the left field, and people could sit in a bar seat. Imagine a bunch of people, instead of standing there, sitting along that whole right field line. I mean, there's so many possibilities to do things like that. Yeah, because the reason why, here's the thing. It's a cutthroat world out there. The sports industry is all about who you know. It's like in radio, it's like in television. You can get kicked to the curb very easily if someone doesn't like you. Or if someone feels like that they're being threatened by you because you're better, because you are. You can. There's so many situations that can happen. But you can also do the wrong thing. You know what I mean? It just happens. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like I don't know how to explain it. I wish I could explain it. But there's a lot of people out there. It's like you could get a job. Just by knowing somebody easily, and not necessarily it's all about how much work you do, what your education is, all that kind of stuff. It's just you get put in the right position. And a lot of these sports industries, a lot of these franchises, everything, programs, everything like that are ran by an owner that their son is the GM or their son is this. Like that's the reason why you have the Cowboy situation. You know what I mean? That's the reason why a lot of the football owners, a lot of people don't like a whole lot of the football owners because it's just like, it's more, all it does is it's just a business. It's like college football. Now, college football is a business now. It's the NFL too. I mean, we're not kidding ourselves. It's the NFL too. They just need to name it NFL 2. Because that's just like English Premier League and the secondary league that they have. La Liga 1 and La Liga 2 or whatever the hell it's called. Serie A and Serie B. I happen to know Italian soccer. Hello, Large Boss. Welcome to the channel. Large Boss and Small Boss. You know what I mean? There's 2 different types. So, I like Small Boss better. He's cooler. Appreciate everyone being here, especially Large Boss. Zach is vibing. We had Dylan was here. John was here. My boys hanging out, enjoying the channel, enjoying the chat. Right now, we were just breaking down everything that was going on in the sports world. We didn't even talk NBA. We wanted to talk a little bit NBA. We didn't really care. I know nobody really cared about the NBA. Nobody really does. They're like, ew, the NBA. But my Atlanta Hawks are sitting at 6th. Yes, I said my Atlanta Hawks are sitting at 6th in the East. How about the East, though? Can we talk about the East for a second, though? You know, how many teams is this? Including the Hawks, I believe. 1, 2, what is that? 5, 1, 2, 11 teams. I'm over here, I can't count. No, I can't, I'm not muted. 11 teams are under 500, by the way, in the East. 3 teams are under 500 in the West. And everyone can compete, and everyone would be in the top 5 of the East. It's fucking wild. Good, because that's all I'm talking, and I'm done. We're done. We're not. I guess nobody's a real big NBA / LeBron James fan in this channel. It's okay. LeBron James is not doing social media, so you'll be fine. We're done. We're done. We're done. Because that's how you lose viewers, is talking the NBA. We talked hockey earlier, but we weren't talking NHL. We were talking SPHL about the greatest fucking hockey in the South, and that's the Huntsville Havoc. If I had to pick a team, and we've already talked about this, nobody cares about the Grey Cup. Nobody cares about the CFL. We don't care about your Tiger Cats and your Argonauts and your Elks. What other team? Rough Riders. Claymores. Thunder. Blue Bombers. Winnipeg. Right? Right? Is that Winnipeg? Lions. Yeah. I like the Tiger Cats. Hamilton, right? Stampeders. Yeah. Let me see if I can name the cities. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Ottawa Red Blacks, Calgary Stampeders, Toronto Argonauts, Montreal Alouettes. Thanks for giving me that one. Who are the Riders? Oh yeah, I know what the Riders are. Okay, never mind. I forgot about that. What city are they from? What's the Rough Riders? Ontario? Congratulations, we received 100 messages. Are you in the Northwest Territory? I learned about that in geography. And you can learn about that in On This Day in History, which we will have that going up later in the channel. That's always my fun time, just to do an On This Day in History. I have a cool little graphic too before we do On This Day in History. It's nice. It's a little extra behind the scenes work. A little bit graphic work. What? Saskatchewan. Ah, I knew that too. I did know that. He didn't know that. Fuck. He didn't know that. I did know that. Saskatchewan. Who are the Lions? I don't know that. Who are the Lions? BC. Okay. BC. Okay. I probably knew that too. British Columbia, yeah. I'm not that dumb. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders, right? Right? Okay, Calgary Stampeders. Hold on. Toronto Argonauts, Montreal Alouettes, Edmonton Eskimos, the Elks. What? I'm not looking at it. I'm not. I promise. Look, this is what it's on. You don't. There's nothing there. Red Blacks. What did I say? Ottawa? Is it Ottawa? Nice. Hell yeah! I got all of them then, right? Except for that one, the two that you gave me, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders and the Lions, the BC Lions. Who won the Grey Cup? Let's look up Grey Cup. Grey Cup winner. Toronto Argonauts. The former team of one Jay Barker. Did you know Jay Barker played for the Argonauts? They weren't very good. Dub. Doug Flutie. Yeah, Doug Flutie played for the Argonauts too. Let's see who's been winning the Grey Cup. We're going to look at the Grey Cup. This is a history/sports channel. Toronto has won it 19 times. They lost 6 times. That was disgusting. Did you see his fucking ankle? It was waving like my arm, like my hand. And he tried to hold it. And I was like, oh! I was like, no. I was like, can you imagine? Oh my god. I was watching the game with Mom. Did she like fucking freak out? I would have probably puked in front of my mom. My mom would have been like, oh, what's wrong with him? Oh, he'll be okay. Be like, no. Dude. I've seen some disgusting injuries on live television before. The guy from Louisville that broke his fucking leg. I'm trying to think. Oh, Tyrone Prothro with his ankle. Obviously Alex Smith. I'm trying to think. There's another one that. Oh, one that I like. Someone getting hurt and just like feeling absolutely awful was Luke Kuechly when he got hit in the head and never played football again. And he was like absolutely crying. That is the only time that I say that I cried. DeMar Hamlin was wild. Because like, it's like that situation that I've heard when I was a kid where I've heard it where and I've heard it. It's happened like recently, I feel like. Where like a kid got hit in the chest right when his heart was like in between beats and he died because he got hit in the chest with a baseball and then died. And it was like, I remember hearing that on the radio when I was a kid and I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy. Like that DeMar Hamlin thing, he got hit in his heart probably at the right skip of beats and he fucking went and just fell to the like just collapsed to the ground. I mean, it's no different than getting hit in the head. I've had many concussions. And I have headbutted somebody and knocked them out. Because I've had wrestling matches where people will go a little too aggressive and they'll throw the headbutt around. And I basically rammed another kid like a batting ram because he kept hitting me in the forehead. And I knocked him out. But taking shots to the head that many times too? Yeah, I'm bad, dude. I am bad. Trust me. I got a haircut too, by the way. You like it? Like I can only imagine, like screw that, like that in itself, like oh my god. Hey yo, it's Hailstorm. Welcome, ma'am. How are you tonight? Name one bad take. No, don't. The CTE is always set in. Yeah, it's always set in. I'm doing okay. We're sitting here trying to get one of these in because we're not going to be able to do one tomorrow. We might do one Sunday, but it depends on how we feel Saturday because we got a fucking wrestling. We got a wrestling tournament Saturday. Got a damn wrestling tournament Saturday. And it's going to be an all-day event. And I'm getting ready to be Coach Grizz, Coach G. He's going to be out there yelling. Throw a wizard. Take a shot. Double leg. Half. That's mostly what I'm going to say is half. Half. Throw the half. 2-on-1. Knee him in the butt. All of them. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's been almost a decade since I've coached wrestling, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm getting back in that niche. Very excited about that, obviously. I've been talking about that in the last couple podcasts. That I will be helping my alma mater and their wrestling team, so that'll be fun. No college football. We still got to get the history in. We're still going to talk college football. We're going to try to do, like, because we're getting so close to the playoff, because there's a lot of Sundays where I'm not doing anything, especially next week. I'm off all week for Thanksgiving break, so it's going to be a great couple shows because we're going to try to do maybe one Sunday, and we're definitely going to do one Monday. And on Sunday, we're going to try to do one before the NFL games. So if you're around, Zach, we'll try to give some predictions on those games, but then we'll also try to get, like, well, if we're pulling into when some of these games start, we'll be doing that too. So yeah, I was doing picks for a while on Twitter, but I just got so distracted and there were a lot of times I just got so tired I just forgot. Cover the Premier League. Who's winning that right now? Who is winning the Premier League right now? Let me guess. I'm not even going to look. Is it Chelsea? Damn it! Liverpool, my favorite team. Chelsea's third. And Man City is second. I like Liverpool. How are they doing in the... What is the... Is that even still going on? I'm trying to see if that even still going on. It's like the MLS still going on. They play next week. Atlanta's playing Orlando because they beat Miami. Which, what the fuck? How the fuck did Atlanta make the MLB? How did Atlanta make the MLS playoff, bro? So stupid. They were fucking terrible. They somehow pulled it out of their ass. They made the playoffs and beat Miami. Got to play Orlando. Probably will lose to Orlando. Hopefully. Unless they do some crazy shit. How about them, though? Basically, a team won the damn MLS in like less than 3 years. And they just fell off the face of the earth. You thought maybe they'd be consistent, but they've had like 3 or 4 coaches in the last like 5 years since they did win it. But yeah, I've always been a big Liverpool fan. That's cool. How is Serie A? Napoli, Atalanta, Fiorentina, Inter Milan, Lazio, Juventus. Look at the standings. Roma is sitting at 12th. Roma, Roma, Roma. Fucking love Roma. Such a great... Are they even a team anymore? You talking about Houston? They are still a team. Houston Dynamo. I didn't even look that up. I still remember. I remember when I was in Houston, they were talking about them playing. Now that I remember that. That was a random statement from Coach. You'll get those a lot. That's at CTE. I remember that one time I was in Houston. They were talking about the Dynamo. They were like, come on out to the Houston Dynamo this weekend. Come out and watch some soccer. Houston's only MLS team. Well, yeah. You wouldn't have 2. Nobody would have 2. That's like having 2 WNBA teams. Stupid. It's pretty stupid to have 1. Oh, was that rude? Was that wrong? Do you like losing money? 'Cause you are. Well, maybe not the owner. Yeah, like the only thing that you can tolerate right now is the fucking Astros, right? And the Texans, I guess. Like you can tolerate those two teams, but it's like going and watching an Atlanta United game. You can tolerate the Falcons. You know what I mean? You can tolerate going to Marietta and going 20 miles north, or 20 minutes north of Atlanta, and experience the Braves and be fine with that. But the soccer team, not so much. So the Falcons are disappointing. I knew they were going to lose to the Broncos. Broncos should have beat the damn Chiefs. The Falcons should have beat the damn Chiefs. The problem is with the Falcons is they keep having these sputters. They play really well, look like world beaters, and then they just crash the very next week. And Kyle Pitts needs to wake up. This man needs to love football again. Or this man needs to play carefree. Because I'm tired of watching him. I've been watching him since he got drafted. He barely runs routes. I feel like he just lost his luster of wanting to play football. He got his money, and it's like, I feel like, watch, he'll get paid by the Chiefs or the Bills, and he'll revitalize it. He'll be like some fucking amazing player again. Oh, the Texans? Yeah, it does hurt a lot for the Texans. And that's the thing, it's like, didn't they lose to the fucking Colts? Did they lose to the Colts? I'll look that up before you tell me. Oh, okay. I thought they lost to the Colts. I might have been. I mean, I'm clearly wrong, but where is the? I knew they were going to beat the brakes off the fucking Cowboys. Everybody's going to beat the brakes off the Cowboys this year, especially if Dak's not playing. Because Trey Lance is ass. I was about to call him Lance Trey. Because Cooper Rush is ass. Let's see. They beat the Colts twice. Y'all swept the Colts. You swept the Colts. Yeah, but see, you lost the Vikings. The Falcons could lose to the Vikings. I mean, fuck. I'm really afraid of what's going to happen down this goddamn stretch where they got to play the Bears after the bye week because they're on the bye. They at least can't fucking lose. But they got to play the Bears, the Cardinals. Or, I'm sorry. This is the Vikings. I'm sorry. The Vikings have to play the Bears and the Cardinals, right? The Falcons have to play the Vikings in 3 games. But until then, they don't have any of their division foes until they play Carolina at the end of the year. They played the Chargers, they play the Vikings, the Raiders, the Giants, Commanders, and then the Panthers. They have to win half of these games. They could win the Chargers game. They could lose at Vikings. They could lose at Raiders. They could beat the Giants, so they'll be 2-2. Then it comes down to the Commanders and the Panthers. So if they're 2-2, that makes them 8-7 coming into that Commanders game. Let's say they beat the Commanders and they have to beat the Panthers. They'll be 10-6. They have to do that. Do you understand? They have to go 4-2. They'll be 10-7. I'm sorry. They have to go 4-2 or 5-1 to win their division, to make the playoffs. That's all you have to do. And that's what we've said. A lot of people, I think I even made my predictions at 12-5 because I thought maybe, just maybe you wouldn't lose that game to a shitty ass Saints team. Or maybe, just maybe, you'd somehow beat the fucking Seahawks, who just beat the brakes off you too. Or maybe squeak by and get that first year win, or that first win of the year against the Steelers. Or not get screwed over and beat the Chiefs and go 12-5. There's still a chance for them to go 12-5. They could pull off some fucking bullshit like the Packers did, where they won, like, what was it, 8 in a row? And then they met the buzzsaw that was the Atlanta Falcons, who won like 10 in a row. And then lost to Tom fucking Brady. God fucking damn it. 28-3 still hurts. Miracle drop from Saquon. Yeah. I'm not saying that wasn't. Trust me. I'm making fun of one of my friends all day about that. Like, imagine if Saquon could catch, bitch. Fuck the Eagles. Dirty birds, baby. The only bird that matters. Go Birds. Oh! You're probably like Mac. You're probably a secret Cowboys fan. All right. Let's see here. All right, we're rounding it off. We're going to finish up. We're going to go to On This Day in History. All right. Today in history, we're going to look at events. Let's see here. Let's see if you know any, because I don't know any. I'm going to look at some cool ones, and then let's see. In 1654, Richard Johnson, a free black, granted 550 acres in Virginia. That happened in 1654? Nobody talks about that. It's kind of crazy. Nothing next. Battle of Maxen, 1759, Battle of Maxen, Prussian army surrenders to the Austrians. In 1787, Andrew Jackson, future U.S. president, admitted to the bar aged 20. Made his march actually through here. Stopped in like Madison, I believe, and stopped around the Tennessee River over here. Let's see. In 1806, well, in 1789, North Carolina ratifies the Constitution, becomes the 12th U.S. state. In 1794, Honolulu Harbor is discovered. In 1806, Napoleon bans British trade. Continental system declared in the Decree of Berlin. Emperor Napoleon I bans all trade with Britain. If Britain and France stopped fighting each other, if Britain had stopped having a civil war every goddamn 200 years, these two motherfuckers would be absolute powerhouses. Maybe they had an overpopulation that they just like needed to send out all these dudes. But it's kind of like Rome against Hannibal, where it's just like, where the fuck did you get 10,000 more dudes at? Where the fuck did you get this army from? It's like, Rome, what the hell are you doing? It's like Britain and France are over here just fighting people all the time. They literally would stop fighting the Muslims and the Crusades to go fight each other for some goddamn fucking reason. And then at the end of the day, they were all fucking related in some sort of way. It's just crazy. Go watch History Marsh. You'll learn everything about battles. Every historic battle before the creation of the United States happened on some form of French land or some form of German land or some form of anywhere in Western Europe. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the crazy thing is all these people that are fighting were somehow related in some way, whether it was through conquest, whether it was through marriage, whether it was through like something where they were trying to like form some kind of bond between people and some kind of like treaty between two countries. But then one country would just be like, all right, well, I'm just going to go fight you anyway. I don't care about what's going on. And like I said, during multiple crusades, you have other battles going on that are going on between French and the English, which is ridiculous. But then it would be like, oh, well, we're both Christian, so let's go fight the Muslims. Let's go do another crusade again. Let's go do this. Or you got mercenaries that are just fighting random ass battles for other like countries and stuff, which is it's just absolutely crazy. And they're absolutely fighting each other. Appreciate you, Zach. Have a great night. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this. We're finishing up with the history, and then we're getting out of here because it's getting late and I have a long day tomorrow. Alexander I in 1818, Russian Tsar Alexander I petitions for a Jewish state in Palestine. In 1817, U.S. soldiers attack Mikosuki. What? 1817, U.S. soldiers attack Mikosuki tribe, village of Foultown, Georgia, becoming what's known as the First Seminole War. Mikosuki. Let's see. Who is Stettin? Surrenders to Allied armies in 1813. Is that a country? Was that a former country? What is that? Let's see. First Jewish Reform congregation forms in Charleston, South Carolina in 1824. In 1834, HMS Beagle anchors at the Bay of San Carlos in Chile. 1847, steamer Phoenix is lost on Lake Michigan, kills 200. Let's see. Two-day battle at Griswoldville, Georgia begins in 1864. Shaw University forms in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1865. Let's see. Stanley meets Brazza. And actually, he had a skirmish in 1876 between H.M. Stanley's expedition and natives. 1880, competing explorers H.M. Stanley in the service of Belgian King Leopold II and Italian French explorer Pierre Sauvignon de Brazza. I think it's Sauvignon de Brazza. Working for France, meet in the Lower Congo. Let's see. First surviving motion picture in 1890. Edison Lab records first surviving motion picture. Monkey Shines, #1, shot by William M. Kennedy Dixon and William Heiss. Date disputed between June 1889 and November 21st and 27th, 1890. Let's see here. What else do we have? Let's see. Go back to the regular screen because we're going to go to birthdays next. 1914, British Army conquers Basra. 1906, China prohibits the opium trade. 1902, first night football game. The Philadelphia Athletics beats Cana Wiola AC 39-0. Cana Wiola? What is Cana Wiola? Cana Wiola AC. Cana Wiola Athletic Club was a bicycling club which later fielded a professional football team based in Elmira, New York. The club operated in an indoor bicycling track inside the Steele Memorial Library building. However, the club is best known for historical firsts of its football team on Virginia. Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to write that on. I'll have to make that a thing. That's pretty cool. That's insane. In Cana Wiola. That's pretty cool. Philadelphia. See, you're missing things, Zach, when you're not here. That's crazy. Let's see here. It's pretty cool. See, you learn things. You learn things with me, and you learn things on here that you never would know. That's crazy. 1902 baseball, Philadelphia Athletics, and Phillies formed pro football teams, joining Pittsburgh Stars in the first attempt at a National Football League. Let's see here. 1918, 2 German ammunition trains explode in Hanmont, Belgium. 1,750 die. Polish soldiers organized a pogrom against Jews of Galicia, Poland in 1918. Mussolini begins terror in 1920. Mussolini's squad begins terror. 11 die in Bologna, Italy. The Last of the Mohicans, 1920 silent film. The Last of the Mohicans released, adapted from James Fenimore Cooper's novel, starring Wallace Beery and Barbara Bedford. Baldwin cancels USSR contract, 1924. British Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin cancels labor contract with USSR. Red Grange signs in 1925. Plays final University of Illinois games. Signs with the Chicago Bears. 1931. Frankenstein horror film Frankenstein is released, starring Boris Karloff as the monster, directed by James Whale, and based on Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein and the Modern Prometheus. By the way, been drinking this tonight. Straight to Ale Chills Pills. Check them out. Give them a follow. Give them a like. Give them some love. Order some of their beer. Chills Pills, Straight to Ale, really good. Monkey Nut, if you like IPA. Forgot all the rest. They have a bunch. They do a great job. Very local. 1934, New York Yankees buy Joe DiMaggio from the San Francisco Seals. Pacific Coast League. 1940, Nazi occupiers forbid building schools in Netherlands. 1938, Nazi forces occupy Western Czechoslovakia and declare inhabitants to be German citizens. 1941, German troops occupy Rostov-on-Don, southern Russia. Hitler appoints Manstein. 1942, Hitler appoints Feldminister Heinrich von Manstein, commander of the newly created Army Group Don, Heeresgruppe Don. I think that's how you say it. 1943, 7 Belgian ministers in London criticized King Leopold III for surrendering to Germany. In 1943, World War II, German submarine U-538 sunk on southwest of Ireland and Atlantic coast by British warships. General Motors workers go on strike in 1945. Let's see here. JFK flies to Texas in 1963. You see President John F. Kennedy flies to Texas. He's assassinated tomorrow. So on this day in history tomorrow would have been the John F. Kennedy assassination. Second Vatican Council, Pope Paul VI signs third sitting of Second Vatican Council in 1964. Rose gets the NL MVP in 1973. On this day, Rocky premieres in New York. Best Picture in 1977. This day in history. Rocky in 1976. Lennon and Yoko Ono posed nude on this day in history in 1980. It's disgusting. Bob Horner of the Braves wins NL Rookie of the Year award in 1978. Let's see here. Anybody else? The song Happy by Pharrell Williams is released in 2013. Let's see here. The Alabama Parole Board grants posthumous pardons to 3 members of the Scottsboro Boys in 2013. Tesla's electric Cybertruck in 2019 launches with shattered windows that, when demonstrated on stage, shatter. Shatterproof windows that shatter when you throw at it. See if there's other ones. Nope. All right. Now we're gonna look at birthdays and get out of here. Let's see here. Voltaire, French writer and philosopher and playwright, born in Paris in 1694. William Beaumont, American surgeon, father of the gastric physiology, born in Lebanon, Connecticut. He was born in 1785. He died in 1853. Let's see here. Benedict, I don't know who that is. Tom Horn, American gunfighter and outlaw, born in Scotland County, Missouri. He was born in 1860. He died in 1903. Let's see. Stan Musial was born in 1920. He died in 2013. American Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder. 24-time MLB All-Star. World Series in 42, 44, and 46. He's NL MVP in 43, 46, 48. 7-time NL batting champion. St. Louis Cardinals. Born in Donora, Pennsylvania. Let's see if we see anybody else in this list. Because sometimes they don't have them like highlighted. You kind of have to know them. Goldie Hawn, 79, born in 1945. Her son played here locally for the UH Chargers in hockey. Her and Kurt Russell came to a game. I saw them. I took pictures. I was like, that's them. I tried to like zoom in and they were all like blurry. You could see them like walking back and forth in their special little made up booth that they had. This team had like no money, but apparently they had time to make a special booth for those two. I think I was going to college when he was playing there. I think we may have been going around the same time. Yeah, fake Captain America, their son. Yeah. No beef, but you know, you're fake Captain America, you know what I mean? He's gonna be in that Misfits movie. So that'll be good. Let's see here. Bjork, she's gonna be 59 today. Icelandic singer, 1965. Troy Aikman, 1966. Born today. Ken Griffey Jr., 1969. 55th birthday. Ken Griffey, the kid. He's 55 today. American Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder, 13 MLB All-Star, AL MVP in 1997, 10-time Gold Glover, Mariners, Reds. Born in Donora, Pennsylvania. Michael Strahan's 53. 7-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl in 2007. New York Giants. He's a broadcaster, Fox NFL Sunday. I hate him being on ABC's Good Morning America. I think he's kind of goofy to be like one of those, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's just in the wrong place. Like, I think he should just be talking about football, man. Just talk about football. Talk about what you're going to make with your stuffing at Thanksgiving. Don't tell me what kind of like mittens you're going to wear this Christmas. Like, I'm sorry. Go do football things. Go do sports. Go do a podcast. I would enjoy that. He probably has one. Everyone's got one nowadays. Everyone's got one nowadays. Let's see here. And the ones that only go crazy and have like thousands of people in their chat every single day and don't have consistent listeners or don't have people that actually appreciate them and follow them are just like rich people that played the game, people that like, you know, like that's like where they're just not even paying attention to the chat. They're just like, yeah, the chat's there, but we don't care. We do not care at all. They're like, we do not care that anyone's there. It's like, do you think anyone's paying attention to that chat right now? There's 104.5 in Baton Rouge. That's the reason why I would love to do more post-game analysis or like post-game reaction to the Falcons, where I'm just pissed off and yelling the entire time. Would you listen to that? Would you listen to me bitch and complain? I think some people would. I think some people would. And as long as you just keep drinking throughout it, doing whatever you're doing, have a sponsor that enjoys it, be fun. As you'd see me get ripped and get so fucking drunk and so pissed off that it's just like I'm just sitting here just cursing the Falcons, cursing the name that is the Atlanta Falcons. I could do that. I could definitely do that. Let's see here. Anybody else? Don't know anybody else in this history. All right, we're getting out of here. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been great. You want to support the channel? Hit us up at guathnychad@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Straight Flexton. All them places. Just search at Coach Grizzle, at Coach Grizzle TV. You'll find us. Ask us a question there. Like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Like us and subscribe if you would like as well on Twitch. Get the little notifications every time that we go live. You can hit us up on Discord as well. You can join the Discord. You can actually get your voice in here. We'll do the voice channel and hang out, do a little questionnaire with whoever. But that's the reason why you join the chat, whether it's Twitch or YouTube, and you can ask any questions. You can be here with Echo. You can be here with Zach. You can be here with the entire crew. Dylan, John, Haley, everybody that came by today. I greatly appreciate you. You are what make this channel keep continuing to go. If not, I'm just some guy named Coach with a podcast. And I'm just talking to myself then. But I'm not. I'm talking to my friends. I'm talking to my family. I'm talking to everybody that's greatly supported the channel. I'm talking to anybody new out there too. Don't be shy. Say something in the channel and hang out. Give us a question. Talk about something. Don't talk about the NBA because it'll make everyone go to bed. But we will talk about hockey. We will talk about other things. We will talk about sports that are fun like football, basketball, not the NBA. Maybe college basketball. Alabama beat the brakes off of Illinois. Had a really good game. In Birmingham, too. They're playing really well. Got to see them play, actually, this year. Probably will be the only game I got to see. But that'll be fun. But thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. We're out of here. Appreciate you. Y'all have a good rest of your night. Peace.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, the Yankees win it. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out. And
He's steaming mad.
he is out.
Swung, fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! 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 The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's followed a run. It's followed a run. He's going to score. David Wagner. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! Van Tippen has won the ball game. Alabama has beaten Auburn.
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been done